All right, everybody, welcome to the show. This is the Otherppl podcast. I'm Brad Listi here in Los Angeles. Thanks for listening. And it's Sunday, so I have a new character studies episode for you. Character studies, of course, is the new series that I've been doing on this show on Sundays, in which I talk to civilians. I talk to ordinary people. They are my guests. These are not authors or poets or playwrights or anything like that. These are just people talking to me anonymously about their lives. So I have a good one for you. It is a conversation with a young woman named Jessa. She is 25 years old, and she is a packaging and e-commerce designer from the Bronx. That is coming up momentarily. Today's episode is brought to you by Random House, publisher of Bibliophobia, the new memoir by Sarah Chihaya. Bibliophobia is the official March pick of the Otherppl book club. That is my book club. If you would like to sign up for the club, get a new book delivered to your door every 30 days, you can do that at the show's official website, otherppl.com, and you can get a book like Bibliophobia delivered to your door. This is a wonderful memoir about Sarah Chihaya's early life, her struggles with mental illness, and her pivotal relationships with books, among other things. I recommend it highly if you're looking for something good to read, if you like books that are very personal and heartfelt and honest and super smart. Bibliophobia is all of those things. So once again, this is the debut memoir by Sarah Chihaya, available from Random House. A reminder before we get going that I do a weekly email newsletter. You can sign up for it over at Substack, bradlisti.substack.com. I will let you know about the latest episodes of this show. I also share a list of links to things that I've been reading and finding interesting. So sign up for my newsletter if that sounds good. And don't forget to check out Deep Dive if you haven't already. Deep Dive is my new company. It is launching officially later this year, and it specializes in the creation of long-form educational audio. The debut course from Deep Dive is called How to Write a Novel. I am the host, and it features more than 50 hours of never-before-heard conversations with dozens of today's leading writers who are instructing on how to get a novel done. So I'm very excited about it. Check out Deep Dive on the internet at www.deepdive.audio. Follow Deep Dive on Instagram and Bluesky. I will be keeping you posted about the company on this show and on my own social channels on Instagram and Bluesky. So stay tuned. All right, so it is time for today's character study, and my guest is Jessa, a 25-year-old packaging and e-commerce designer from the Bronx. Once again, my guests on character studies appear anonymously by first name or by pseudonym. If you know anyone who would be a great guest for this series, remember that you can email me. The address is letters@otherppl.com. So this is a fascinating conversation with Jessa. It's a little bit wild at times. It can get intense, but it's very heartfelt, a very candid conversation. She was a wonderful guest, and I had a great time meeting Jessa and hearing her story. So now it is time for the fourth character study in the history of this program.
Hi, I'm Jessa. I'm 25 years old, and currently I am a packaging and e-commerce designer. Well, I grew up, growing up in Bronx, New York. I grew up in New York City. I'm still here in my childhood home, and I am ready to go. I think that there is a lot of nostalgia, sometimes a lot of guilt that comes with going. I have my mother here. I take care of my mother, but since I am 25, and people tell me it's okay, stay at home, save your money, and I do get that, but I do realize that it is time for me to go, and especially with the saga that just closed, to which I feel I want to talk about that because I feel like it would be very cathartic. Like I said, having this be today is very serendipitous because of things that I just went through.
What did you just go through?
So it's hmm. So currently, yeah, I am a packaging designer, but I kind of want to go into um, therapy. I want to become a therapist with a specialty of working with women and young girls, and I feel like I've always known that, but for what just happened and for like how I care about people, like it's only right that now like the ball is starting to roll and I'm starting to set goals in order to achieve that. There's some things that like I have to take care of me first before I even step foot in school. And I think for like the people in my life who encourage me and the reparations that I'm doing, I feel like I am viewing my life as this movie, like these story beats that just need to happen when the hero is like so down and out of his luck, and then like being brought back from the, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't know how I got into this situation. I do know
What situation?
a little while ago, I in the summer I was kind of bored out of my mind. At the time, like I didn't have employment. I had just left a really toxic job, and I was looking for connections. I was cosplaying or trying to build my cosplay, and all of the movies, all the music, like all of that ran out. I was bored of everything, and so I had joined this Discord server from a podcast that I usually liked, and this Discord server had active voice channels in which people would join, and eventually more people joined, some people left, and it would form friend groups and eventually form my current friend group or past friend group, really. And throughout the time there, like, I was just so astounded that for absolute strangers and like these walks of life, sort of what you're doing right now of like interviewing these people and listening, these people had enough trust and comfort to tell their stories to other strangers. Sometimes it's really light. Sometimes it would be about their day and maybe their family life and like what they're up to. And a lot of times it was be really really dark. And it would just baffle me that these people trusted me and other people. Like there's other people in those servers, those voice chats, to help them and to guide them and just lend an ear. And so when we had closed down on that server, like everyone left that server and friend groups formed elsewhere, we would grow even closer. And for me, I understand that my personal issue has always been about balance. And I think that I'm still working on it. I don't think that I'm. I don't think that I am there just yet. I
Like
think
balance between what? Like balance. Like what are you trying to balance?
um I guess my care about my friends and my care about myself. Like I like sacrifice so much of myself in order to make my friends feel better, and I think that for what I went through, now is a time to listen to me
Well, I still don't know what you went through. Like, what did you go through?
Right. So with all these people that needed help, or just like getting closer and seeing that these people had different walks of life. There's this one particular girl. I won't name her. Um, I'll just throw out a anonymous name. I'll just call her Sophie, I guess. Um, Sophie, she struggled a lot. She struggled. I come to learn that she struggled with mental disorder. She struggled with alcoholism. She has a very complicated and nuanced relationship with a narcissistic boyfriend. And she would come to us and tell us things about her past and tell us things that she's currently going through. And I felt so much for this girl. And we grow closer. And one day she called me up. She called me up and she said, well, first off, it was completely normal. Like, oh, like, how's your day? How's it going? Like, what's you been up to? And it was all fine. And then she said, at a drop of a hat, she said, you know, I reached out to multiple people. No one answered but you. And if you hadn't answered, I would have killed myself. And I immediately woke up. I was so stunned. And I always go through with the should have. Like, I should have called the hotline immediately. I should have told someone. I should have. I mean, at the end of all of this, I learned that I'm only a human. There's only so much that I can do. I'm no professional. I want to become a therapist, but I'm not there yet. I don't have the tools to know how to handle that. And so I don't even remember what I said to quote unquote save her life. Like, I don't know what I do. I don't know what I did. But I check up on her next days, the incoming weeks, and in our friend group, I set what was called a golden rule, and essentially it was anytime that she joined, anytime that she wanted to talk, just reaching out. Like, I would be at my phone at her will and beck and call. I understand now that that's not healthy for me. But that's what I did because I wanted her to feel as if she was important. I wanted her to feel loved. I wanted her to I wanted her to get away from this boyfriend that it's just emotionally confusing her and it's just so not a good situation for her. But over time, also to keep this sort of confidentiality, I told no one in that friend group. Like I didn't know I didn't know what to do about this. I'm researching or trying to gather. She's all the way in the UK, and I don't know what the procedures or the infrastructure in place for people that struggle with mental health there. So that was kind of a challenge for me. But I do what I can from a Discord rectangle, and I hype her up and I uplift her when she would have these episodes in front of me in which it's different from being in a physical setting where if someone struggles, you can take the alcohol bottle away from them, you can take the pills out of their hand, walk them to the clinic or something. All I had at my disposal was my words. That was my power. And she would pull at my own heartstrings, being like, "You're so good at this. Like, you would be a great therapist one day." And I'm like, "I'm working on it." Like, trying to be strong for her, but I would just be freaking out inside because of her mental and also sometimes physical health. So she had a condition called MCAS, which I believe it varies from person to person, but like you can, for her, she was allergic to medicine, and so like she had taken this EpiPen and it didn't work, and our friend group was trying to get her to call the ambulance, and she doesn't want to do so because she also has a son who is autistic, and she doesn't want to leave him. And so like what had happened was that our other friend messaged me and saying like, hey, Sophie's really struggling, we're trying to get her to help herself, she can't, can you come in? And when I came in, and eventually, again, I don't know what I say. I don't know what I say to help these people, but eventually it works. Like she calls the ambulance, and like afterwards, she had said like they took care of me. Like things got severe. If you hadn't gone to get me to call the ambulance, I would have died. And like that was just the ongoing theme throughout. Like talking with her and guiding her was that like just to put it out there that like this was riding on me, like the stakes are all on me, I'm the main character, like no, um or else like someone's life would have been lost. Like I don't have the tools to know how to emotionally handle that myself.
It's
um
stressful.
it was very, very stressful, and it got to a point where like I would see her name like pop up in my phone, and it wouldn't even be anything. It would just be like, look at this dog, or like, does anyone want to chat, or something like that. And like the anxiety that I would have in the middle of an office, to which like I had my own thing going on. I was adjusting to a new job at the time, and I still am. But like I put that all aside because I'm like, oh, like who cares about sales or who cares about presentations when this girl is about to die? Like that's what I told myself. Um, and so like things happened to where I also found myself playing couples therapist with the narcissist boyfriend, and that was me. I ride for my girls. Like I'll talk you through anything, and I'll help you the best that I can. I have no patience for men. Like the stuff that he would say to her, the things that I would, and for narcissism, and this isn't speculated. He said, "Oh, I'm diagnosed. I'm trying to better myself. I was in therapy and things like that. So it wasn't where I was unfairly diagnosing someone. Like that's also wrong. He's come out and he said it, and to me, like I felt like my tolerance was higher than usual because like he was a very interesting character in which he knew that he was a narcissist, and narcissists don't necessarily know that they're narcissists oftentimes. I mean, like anyone can walk into a therapist's office and find out about themselves, but to even get them through the foot of the door, like it's hard because they just don't think that anything is wrong with them. So for him to understand that about himself was like that's like I can work with this, I guess. um but over time it just became where like just because someone knows this about themselves and feels sorry, and she would always put up this story where anytime that I'd say like, hey, that isn't really okay, she would recount the time in which like, oh, he cried because he felt so bad. And as much as I understand that, because that's empathy. Like if someone doesn't put in the work to try to better themselves and try to change, then that's all for naught. Like weaponized tears, you know what I'm saying? And that
Well, I
would
was going to say
happen.
that can be manipulative. He could be crying. I mean, who knows if those tears are even real?
Exactly. Exactly. And with narcissism, like eventually you just really can't trust anything that these people say because it's always for their own benefit. And even though I do believe that in some portion of my judgment, some portion of his heart, that he wanted to help with this girl with like her alcoholism, get her into rehab, get her to professional help. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't also use that as an opportunity to feed into his own vices. And his own vices for narcissists will always be the praise and like they love their image and things like that. Because all the time when I or even the friend group would call him out on stuff like, hey, you can't say that, or that's not okay. Like the defensiveness and the escalating, like it's, and then the worst of all, getting her to play this sort of peacemaker of, there's a strange thing where these people latched onto me, and he would always like target me, like, you have to tell Jessa, like, this is just our dynamic, you have to tell, I guess, the friend group, like it's perfectly fine and all of that. And because this girl didn't trust her own judgments, I need her to trust her own judgment because her judgment is good. She always felt like something was off, but in front of him, like it was like clockwork. Like, it's okay, like you don't have to do all this, and you don't, like, it's all good. Like, he makes me feel like I'm on top of the world. And it was just very frustrating to get him to see that some of his actions toward this girl was not okay. At the same time, I can't I mean, it goes for anybody, not necessarily people who want to become therapists, just anyone who wants to help their friend out. Like, it does nothing to be like, hey, don't be with that guy. That guy is trash. Bye, or whatever. I mean, sometimes like ripping off that band aid is very much helpful. But my strategy was to guide her in which she like realizes this herself, because all the time, and I told him this too, I told both of them, like, I needed to talk to you guys individually, because like together you're harmonious and you're unified, even though not that much, because this guy is rewriting your memory in front of you, like word for word gaslighting. I know people like to throw that around, but I feel like in this case, like, it was just so cookie cutter, um, and everything's dandy. But when you're alone with me and you're talking about this guy to me, your answer is different. This guy toys with me. This guy plays with me. I don't know his feelings. I don't know what he is to me. I don't know what I am to him. And I've told him that, like, I'm in love with them. So that is really, really important for her to understand and to listen to that, and to come to the realization, this emotional confusion is not doing you any favors towards the rest of your mental health, with like your suicide and the alcoholism and other stuff. Um, by the last that I've spoken to her and trying to see where she was at, I guess, medicine wise, says that she suspects with her medical team that she may have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. And again, even though that, like, people have this like surface level, I have this surface level knowledge of like what BPD is, what narcissism is, like I'm not a professional and I don't know what the real nitty gritty details on what that entails. So my general goal not only was for her to self realize, but also get her to a point where she's okay submitting herself to professional help and for a reevaluation that way. She's very hesitant because of her past.
Well, so wait,
And
wait, where are things now? Like, how did it end? Is she okay? I mean, she's still with us. She didn't take her own life. She's still dealing with this.
the thing is that I don't know, because I ultimately blocked her. And like, it wasn't guiltless, but like, when things escalate, and when I start getting disrespected, and I see the cycle continuing of this emotional codependency, and like, it was just starting to get so bad for me. And I had a really long talk with the friend group, and really long talks with really everybody in my life, my in real life friend, my sister, just yesterday. And like, I already had made my decision to leave, but the emotional baggage and emotional burden of doing so, I lose either way. Because if I didn't talk to this girl and this happened, I broke golden rule one time, the final time. And I was like, I have to step away a little bit, but just let me know if there's an emergency and whatnot. And sure enough, like, something happened when she had an episode and I wasn't there. I don't know the results of that, but I mean, by what my friends tell me, like, she's okay. And so like, I distance myself, and I leave. Something happens, I feel guilty, but I am still in her life. I'm walking her through the things, and then something happens in front of me. I still feel guilty, and tenfold at that. And I just don't know how to go about dealing with that. And so ultimately, like, without any word, like, I leave and I block her. And it's just so hard because, like, the last thing that I told this girl was that I'm there for you. But I just can't tolerate the disrespect that I got. I understand that when you're consumed like this, like, it's just so human behavior. Like, it's just all but projecting and hurt and anger, and you don't know where to place it. You don't know how to emotionally place it. But for all the mental health that I sacrifice doing this, while not knowing if, like, what I do is the right or wrong thing, this personal pressure to always say the right thing so that she has the tools herself to get better. And I just couldn't do it anymore. And like, I don't know where she is. I don't know. This was like maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago. Like, anything could happen in the span of those weeks. And my friends I love my friends. I mean, there's a whole other saga in there to which, like, I was just getting disrespected left and right. I can talk about that. But for one of my friends that was formed from the friend group, like, she was reassuring me, like, you're literally just a person. Like, just literally the rest of us here on this human earth. You are a pile of bones and a sack of meat, and you yourself are doing your best. And you tried your best, and I can't. I can't help anyone that doesn't want to help themselves.
I'm sorry that you went through all this. That's rough. That's a lot of that's a big burden to carry when somebody's struggling with their mental health and you're sort of their like resource, their listener, and yet you're at a distance. It's all, it's all digital, right? It's all on a screen. So there's a limitation really to what you can do. Plus, again, like you keep saying, it's out of your realm of expertise. Like, you might not be qualified to help somebody who's struggling as badly as this woman seems to have been struggling. But I want to get back to you and your story and like your life. So can we start at the beginning? Can you tell me about your childhood? Like, where you said you're from the Bronx, that's where you grew up, but, like, just talk to me about your childhood. What kind of childhood did you have?
Sure. Hold on. I gotta dry my eyes a little bit because, I've made peace with what happened, but this was 2 weeks ago, so it
It's
is still
fresh.
fresh sometimes. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So, just whenever you're ready, just tell me about your childhood.
I spoke to my sister about this yesterday. I don't remember my childhood, or at least I understand that for trauma and for how the brain boxes things in order to protect yourself. That's the reason why I don't remember a lot of things is to protect myself. It's not that it's a whole blank slate. I really loved books in my teen years. That's how I coped a lot with the stories and things to distract myself with. I loved writing. I wanted to become an author one day. I don't know if that's in the works for me nowadays, but it was my one and only salvation was writing, 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 writing.
Salvation from what?
Um, so mm, it's hard to talk about because this isn't necessarily a closed chapter. I'm still trying to, get out of this situation. But my father died when I was like 6 years old. It's soon to be around 20 years ago now. And it was all dandy. Our family was, I don't want to say our family is perfect, but it was normal. Like me and my sister, my mom, my dad, and then my dad died.
How did
And
how did he die?
he died from cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry. It sucks.
Yeah. And so when that happened, my mom just became a completely different person. And she got swallowed into her own vices. She hoards. And she still does that to this day. I'm looking elsewhere because beyond that door is the vice. And just how much that affected me and my sister's relationship, just how much that affected. There was one time where after our dad died, she needed help, and she had brought my grandparents over from the Philippines, and just the chaos that ensued, the arguing, and the just seeing that as a child, that is just so formative, and a lot of anger and a lot of resentment. And also, since you're a child, you don't know where to place that as well, and you don't know how to healthily process that. So bringing that into teenage years and then bringing that into adulthood and so many things that I've had to unpack on my own because logistically, I mean, I'm going to do this, but I haven't had therapy in a couple of years because when I was a teenager and I knew that I really really needed it. And my mom was just at her bottom lowest, at her worst form, and would always argue that I never needed it. You're fine. You should be grateful. Da 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 da, and all of that. So getting over the emotional hurdle of each time that I would say I would need this, and arguing that I would need it, a lot of times it was just not even worth it, and so I was like, forget it. But there's ways to help myself. There are therapy channels and therapy podcasts,
I was
and
gonna say YouTube videos.
yeah.
So wait. So you're growing up in an apartment in
In New
the
York City.
in the Bronx, and
Hmm.
your father dies, and you were 6 years old, so you were old enough to be aware that he was ill, right? It was not something that was abstract to you. You saw him get sick.
Yeah, looking back, I remember the hospital trips. I remember like uh, the seriousness of adult conversations um, around what do we do next, or oh, is he getting better? I do think that it was all very very hush hush because And that is hard for a child to hear, and the adults around me were, in a roundabout way protecting me.
And
Um,
your sister, is your sister older or younger? I forget.
she's older.
She's
She's around 4 years. 4 years older than me. I had to think for a second. How old is my sister?
And so what kind of cancer did your dad have?
I believe he had liver cancer. He was a smoker, and I do believe that he drank. I mean, if you have liver cancer, that is probably a factor. And yeah, he didn't beat it, and I don't remember most of that. My sister does, and I asked her yesterday, like what do you remember of our childhood? And she was just listing out like all of these things. I mean, she's older, so she would have around 4 years worth of memories that like I wouldn't have because I'm the younger sister. But like, it was just so idealized. Is that the right word? Or like what could have been, like had our dad lived? Because everything that she recounted when he was alive was normal, and like everything that happened afterwards was just so bad. And like that isn't necessarily to say that like our lives would have been perfect going into adulthood. Like there are probably things that like he did that would have affected us negatively. Like we're all human. Like parents are humans, and I was just like felt like I'm grieving so much of like what could have been, and
Well, and your mom's like mental health really collapsed after your dad died. It sounds like she started hoarding. Do you understand? I don't have a super deep understanding of that impulse and like what it is born of. Have you looked like, do you understand why somebody hoards? Is it a desire to
right.
like, it seems like a desire for permanence or something, like fearing loss, but I could be wrong.
So hoarding, I have looked into it. Hoarding can happen for a number of different reasons. Sometimes when people hoard, it's because they've come out of poverty and they've had nothing, and so when they've come out of that and they have this money and they have their wealth, I guess, like they just didn't find a balance, and then they just acquire, 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 acquire. For my mother, I do believe that it was just some sort of sense of control, since like no one can control cancer. I mean, like you can have treatments and you can do what you can, exercise and eat healthy, but like if it's terminal, it's terminal. And I don't think that she's ever come to terms with just how out of control that she felt. And so, in order to feel in control, she just has to do that, acquire, 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 acquire. And it was just also, people don't understand like the essence of hoarding, because they think like anytime that I would say something like this, they would think like, oh, you the place is just cluttered. They always say that, well, it's just a little messy. But no, it looks like keeping envelopes of past mail from 2003. And like buying things that you know you're not going to use, but like you just feel like you want it, and then so it gets shoved into a corner collecting dust for 10 years. And that would happen for appliances, that would happen for clothes, that would happen for trash. Oh my god, the amount of things that like we have to throw away, because like one day she always told herself like one day I'll use this plastic bag one day. And like you know people do that for economic reasons, like that's perfectly understandable. For an Asian household, like you'll always have like that one drawer of full of like um
I'm not
plastic
Asian.
bags.
I'm not Asian. I have that drawer. I've got that drawer.
Yeah, yeah. So like it's normal to like have that weird inclination to keep random things because one day you'll need it. But for someone that goes through this and then it just escalates into a mental problem, like it is just like really up to the max. And also this affects like her financial situations. A lot of times there are, my sister tries, we all try but like she will do things that in the long term like cost her more money and like phone plans or buying things, and we're just like if you kept a couple of these things and took care of it, like you wouldn't feel the need to buy it all so often. But she doesn't want to hear that. She was just like, oh, I'll just get a new one. But then the old one gets shoved into another corner and that gets filled up. Like for her, she thinks that she always laments about this one house in New Jersey. I should have bought that house. None of this would have happened if like we had more space. But for hoarders, they find a way to fill that space. No matter if you're in a small little New York apartment versus Kim Kardashian's house, you will find a way to fill that space. Because every single time we've gone through the rounds of clearing things out, cleaning, throwing things out, and like there has been times where I actually saw the floor. We have 3 rooms. I'm in one of them. The 2 other rooms are filled up to the like you can't even see the floor, and like uh, like clockwork, we would clear that out, and sooner or later it gets filled back in, and we don't even know how this happened. Like
So you live with your mom still,
I do. I still deal with this.
and your sister is where?
Right now she's in Harlem. She has her own apartment. But she did live with us at one time, and just like me, like she was ready to go, and I'm ready to go, because with that girl in that server, that Discord server, I just can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves, and like sacrificing your own mental health and looking back of all the relationships that you've crashed and burned, or things that you turned to that wasn't right for you. Like in order for me to take care of myself, like that's what I have to do. Is that like I have to leave. I'm still here for my mom. Like she is one of those moms that like don't really know technology, so I have to like walk her through how to set up an email or things like that.
Oh God, her inbox is going to be so cluttered. I can just see. She's never going to delete anything. So I got to believe that it was stressful for you growing up.
Yeah.
And your mother, like you talked about your mother bringing her parents over from the Philippines, right?
Hmm.
So is your mother or are you first generation? Like, how does that work? Did she come over to the States, your mom?
Yeah, she and my father and my god family at the time, yeah, they all came over to the States, I believe around the 80s, maybe 90s. We were born in the 90s. And then afterwards, when my dad died and my mom needed more help, that's when we brought over my grandparents. And it's odd because, I mean, I love my grandfather. I love my grandmother. It's odd because for all the complications that I have with my sister, it's ironed out now. We're at a good place now. Complications that I have with my mother and with myself and my friends around me. Like the one thing that was just so constant and unconditional love was my grandparents. And like, I mean, I'm trying to be kinder to myself because I tell myself like you don't remember them because like you're trying to protect yourself. But felt like I just took them for granted. Like I didn't care about them. Like I lashed out at them, and
About what?
I don't know, just like kitty stuff. Whatever I was angry about it that day, um, turning it back on them. I mean, I don't know what version of events my sister has, but like I felt like I was being very unfair to them, and like my
But you were
grandmother.
but you were a child. You have to give yourself some
Yeah,
space. You were a kid.
yeah, it just uh, it just still doesn't feel right. And I already know that like if I spoke to my grandmother today, she's still alive. My grandfather passed away, but my grandmother is still alive. Like, if I were to ever talk to her about that era, like, she wouldn't care.
How old were you? How old were you? You were like what, 12, 13 years old or something, or
I believe even younger than that. Maybe like 8 to 10 years old, maybe. I'd have to ask my sister the details about that,
yeah,
but definitely younger.
you get a pass. You get a pass. You were 8 years old, and your dad died when you were 6. Like, if you're gonna lash out at grandma, like, it's obviously not great, but I you are to be forgiven, is what I'm saying. That's just my feeling on the matter. Don't be too hard on yourself. And did your mom, in the aftermath of your dad's passing, and she's having these mental health struggles with hoarding, is she working?
Yeah. She is a nurse. She's about to retire, but she's been a practicing nurse for, I believe, over 30 years. It's been a very long time. She needs to rest. I feel like
I,
a lot of things can get done with her healing if she rested. And that's probably what exacerbated the problem, was that like when money got tight, or like she just needed to pick up the pieces, like she would just like take overtime shifts over and over and over again, and the toll that that took on her. Like I'm trying to be graceful to myself, but also trying to be graceful to my mom, because like she's a very complicated and nuanced person, and like there's only so much anger that I can hold on to before I'm like that doesn't really do anything, and like you're only detrimenting yourself. Is that
but
a
you were
verb?
you were angry at her
Yeah.
for the hoarding.
I was angry at everybody at one point. Like,
About
I don't know, just how my life turned out, what could have been, like so much potential that I had that just didn't pan out the way that I thought it would. Like, I don't know. I just lashed out at every single body. Eventually, it wasn't all so bad, where like I had no good memories whatsoever, and definitely like people did things to me where I had to be like, I don't want to be a part of your life. But like one way or another, like my anger just manifested into every relationship that I had, and like whether or not that I want to like revisit. I mean, some of these people, like I don't know where they are now, and like
what
I
you mean,
don't.
like childhood friends?
Yeah, like when I was like in high school, and I had this best friend who, I mean, given the saga that I just been through, I like I understand her now, and it was even more graceful of her to be friends with me like afterwards. We fell
Why?
out of
Why?
touch.
Because she knew that you had been through a lot and that you were, your dad had died. Is that what you mean?
Well, I felt like I was very ashamed to admit that. Like, I lived in a hoarding house, so I never told her that. But I would tell her of all the times that like my mother would lash out at me, back in high school, and like things that would happen, the bad people that I turned to. Trying to find a father figure and all that, like she would hear all of this, literally the same thing as the, not exactly the same thing, but in a similar route as the girl that I had just tried to help, and like the endurance that she had, and I pushed her away.
Okay, so wait, so this girl was listening to you basically talking about your struggles with your
Hmm.
mom and her hoarding and the shame that you felt around it and the anger that you felt around it. So you were kind of confiding in her, and then you also mentioned that you were searching for a father figure and were getting involved with bad people. I'm imagining bad men, and like, were these guys that you were dating, or were these guys that you were just confiding in or befriending?
No, so I mean, it's a very hard story to revisit, and telling her, I didn't necessarily tell her like the scope of it. I don't know how her memory holds it, but like she did know that like I was just surrounding myself with bad people. Um, but like
Like what
for
kinds of bad people? Like bad boys or bad?
there was this guy. He is not. I didn't consider him a relationship person. Like it was more of like I'm looking for a father figure, and he fulfilled that. At least how I thought. But he
Wait, how old was he? Like, and how old were you? You were a teenager?
I was a teenager. I was around this happened when I was around, I believe, 13, and he was I maybe around like 60. I
60,
know.
60 years old?
Yeah, and I looked to him as a father figure. But like looking back and
What? Wait. How did you meet this guy?
he was just a neighbor of like a childhood best friend that I had, and he would always be around every summer of just like chilling out in the park, or like we used to chill on the sidewalk at a corner house because they had a corner house. And eventually like my anger that like my dad is gone, just told myself like I'm just gonna look for it elsewhere. And like I just happened to turn to him, and he like it's just so hard to see as a child that like people are taking advantage of you. And so again, I don't remember a good amount of this, so like I don't even know whether or not what's true or what's like factual lies, or like I mean, again, giving grace to
why don't you
myself.
remember it because of the trauma of it?
Yeah, so like all that I do remember are things like pictures and and like undressing. Like I don't remember any acts in of itself, but I just remember like like I used to take naps a lot. I was very tired. I was like I knew back then like I was depressed, and like I slept a lot. And so like I would take naps, and like I would wake up, and I would just always know that like something just happened, but like I just wouldn't care because like I didn't care about my life. Um, and like looking back and seeing that like he was doing this parading thing where I thought that it was father daughter bonding time, but for him, it was like, I'm going to show you around, and I'm going to show you to these other men, or like people interested. I don't know. I don't know.
Like it was like a what, like a sex trafficking thing? Or I'm trying to get a sense of what he was up to. He's like, it sounds like he was kind of a pedophile.
Yeah, he was. And it, I feel like that's what happened. But at the same time, like, I just, like, it's hard to open up that box again because I don't have the tools to know how to do that. Like again, like I just can't remember any of this, but I
Right.
just know what bits and pieces. And being older now and putting together like this wasn't okay, this wasn't okay. This is what most likely happened, and like I don't know what the scope of it. I don't know what those pictures even look like anymore.
So he was taking pictures of you.
I remember pictures. I remember like but like to me in trying to quote unquote get better, like I want to be a model, and I want to like this is my big break, like oh, like modeling agencies, like they're always on the down low, right? stuff like that. That's what I would tell myself, or at least like that's probably how I justified it. And I remember these quote unquote like photo shoots in which he would just be like, okay, now like lift your skirt up a little higher, and things like that. And you just get caught up of oh like I am a grown up and I'm such a hottie, and these are just I'm coming into my own story and stuff like that, while not realizing that like this man is preying on you and is taking advantage of your emotional vulnerability in order to get what he wants.
Right. I'm
Hmm.
so sorry. That's terrible. And how did you? I mean, I'm imagining you eventually got away from this guy.
Yeah, so I don't know where he is to this day. I know exactly the spot in which he would hang out. I don't go there at all. But like one day, at least in my memory, like one of the, I guess, neighborhood friends would come up to us, and one day like she came up to me and was like, you can't hang out with so and so anymore. Whenever that he would invite you back to his apartment, it's really important that you like reject it, and if that were to happen again, talk to us. um
Wait, now who said this to you? A friend of yours?
I believe, yeah, a neighborhood friend of ours. um because it's a even though New York City is really really big, there are pockets of community where people know each other. And like uh, for my immediate neighborhood, people do know each other. um so like mothers and like shopkeepers, like things like that, people knew each other. And yeah, she told me that, and I didn't necessarily know how to take it. I don't think that I was angry at her. I was just like more or less confused. And I mean, I guess it worked. Like it spooked me enough to stay away from him. And I don't know exactly what happened to him. And I
So wait,
don't.
she just said, stay away from him if he invites you to his apartment. Reject it. That was it. Was there anything else that she said?
um no, I don't think so. She just gave me that fair warning, and just let me be on my way. I think that she was trying to assess the situation before straight up calling the police. I mean, my childhood best friend's mom also was eyeing this, and is was starting to get angry of I'll straight up call the cops on him, stuff like that. But it wasn't like a showdown intervention of like uh, the cops show up and he's slammed against the ground and handcuffs are on him. Like that didn't necessarily happen. She just told me to stay away, and I guess I did, because I never saw him again. Like that was back in 2013. I was 13 at the time.
God, I'm wondering if she said something to him directly.
Most likely, yeah.
And so you then go on to high school. Like, what were you like in high school?
Um, well, I loved books. I loved stories, and I loved movies, shows. I was very nerdy. Like I was known to be like the book girl who had a different book every day. And my friend group at the time was also like that. We were part of the book club and poetry club, things like that. Like I said, it wasn't all so bad, even though in my mind eventually it got there where I just couldn't enjoy anything. But
In high school?
in high school. But I was a decent student. I wasn't the smartest, and I felt like I felt like I compared myself a lot to the honors students, who just they were so effortless in trying. They didn't try. Like it was effortless, and I had to try so hard. I was like, what did they got that I don't got. um, and like I wasn't a very athletic person. I did some ice and figure skating, but like I never competed. That was a weird arc. And like I had for the most part, it was like your typical non-typical high school experience where like you're so filled with angst, and you're just figuring out the world, and you're like you want to maybe try to fall in love for the first time. Oh god, that wasn't really a part of my life, but
So wait, you weren't dating in high school?
there's just like this one boy that I liked back in freshman year. But since like you're juvenile kids that don't really know how to navigate a relationship, like you're just like, okay, hi, bye, type of thing.
That was it. And so otherwise, you're like a decent student, going through high school, you're not playing sports, you're into like kind of books, and you're sort of hanging with like a nerd posse. Is that what it was? Like kind of like a nerdy group of people who were in the book club?
Yeah. It was like we would fangirl over like these fictional men all day, every day, because we are just like, oh my god, they're just so much better than real men, which is still the case. um, and things like that. And like since I used to write a lot, it got kind of manic, but like I used to write a lot, and
Like
like
what?
we would
Like
share.
keeping a journal?
Mm-hmm. We would share our poems, and through that like we would like share our feelings. And I remember really loving Lindsay Sterling at the time, because it was to me like such a breath of fresh air, where like everyone was a singer and everyone was a dancer or whatever. This girl is a violinist and she dances, like she doesn't even have to say any words yet. Like I loved her songs. Like her songs have words now, but her earlier albums when I was a kid didn't. And like that was also like my salvation, and like my pull to get me through my hard times. So I feel like for anyone who would listen to this, like they would check off their own boxes of like, yep. Like it sounds like I'm the main character and like this is so unique. Like I already know that it's not unique, and like things like this happen to everybody, you know.
Well, not everybody, but something's going to happen. Things like this. Everybody's got stuff to deal with, but you've certainly had more than your fair share. And you get through high school, and then did you go to college?
Yeah. So I went to an art and design school, and that I felt like really single-handedly like saved my own life, because like back in, I believe, like a junior to senior year, where like my feelings and what's happening in my life like just got like so bad, where like I had my own saga of wanting to leave the world. And
At what age? Like right around like 18, 19 years old?
it's around 16, 17. You know. And like for the friend who was trying to help me, and wherever she is in the world, like I wish you the best, and I'm sorry for everything that I did to you. Um, but like she effectively pushed me into going into college, and I'm not necessarily a math person. I'm not a science person. I can sometimes do political stuff. I know that's a lie. I don't know how to debate things, but like I didn't necessarily know what I wanted, and so like I just went into art because that's like the most freeing medium, right? And that even though where I am currently, like I kind of want to go back to school and like leave that behind, but like
Because you want to become.
I want to become a therapist. Hmm. But at the time, like it just gave me exactly what I needed. It gave me like artistic freedom. It gave me a new set of friends, and like a different environment, because like I had stayed here. I mean, now currently I've moved back, and will move out again, but I had to go upstate for at least like the first 2 years, and that, even though it was cold and dark and dreary and there's nowhere to go, because I'm leaving New York City and going to this random corner of the world, like it was just so freeing to me, because I had my own autonomy. I had my own. I mean, sometimes I didn't know what to do with it. Like I just stayed in my dorm and bed rotted all day. But like the people that I met, oh my god, like you don't realize like how close minded that you can be yourself. I mean, you're always like, I have trauma and I have and whatnot, but it doesn't really excuse like your own bad behavior. And like just the people that I met there, like gave me that salvation to understand that like everyone has different viewpoints, everyone has different experiences. Maybe broaden your horizons a little bit and not be consumed by your own story, you know? Because I was like, one of the things that I had trouble with was like I would do this like bad comparison thing, the pain Olympics as I call it, where like someone would talk about their own thing and it's like, well, it's nothing compared to what I've been doing. Like no, like that's also not okay. And like uh, like the teachers that I met, oh my god, I want to contact him again. My illustration teacher. I eventually majored in illustration, and I met a really wonderful professor that was like my mentor and a life coach almost. Um, and just the guidance that they provided, and not only like teaching us how to draw and all that, but knowing how to express yourself really gave me that really good outlet in processing. um, and like again, even though that I want to leave my design job and not really do anything with art, like I really wouldn't trade my experience like for the world, because like I really wouldn't have become the person that I was like without college. And I understand that like for pragmatic reasons, like college means different things for different people. Like they just see it as a way to like get higher education and then get a good job and then like leave and all that. But like for me, it's more about like forming myself as a person, and knowing that like I couldn't have done that without college, and I couldn't have done that. I mean, it could have like moved away and like found some other job, and I don't really know what that alternative would have looked like, because I have this reality, right? But for college, like for anyone who's doubting whether or not to go, I I will always push for that, because for the education that you get, not only for whatever you're studying, but about yourself, will be so like so invaluable.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like a social education. That's what I remember. You meet a lot of different people, and it's a very social time in life.
mhm.
And you talked about a friend earlier who pushed you to go to college, and that you owe her for pushing you. And yet, it sounded like you were emotional about that relationship. Like, was there a rupture in that relationship?
Well, I was the rupture. Like this girl, my best friend in high school, like she she had, everyone has problems, but generally she is kind of a privileged person, or at least like she has a stable family. She had a stable life. Um, she has a large house and things like that. And I do feel like I grew to resent her because of that. And the things that I would say, or at least like things that I would say to myself that like she had to overhear, like it was just so unfair to her. Um, because like everyone deserves that. Like everyone deserves a good family. Everyone deserves a good life. And like I just couldn't let go of that resentment, that like you have this and I don't. Like what did I ever do? And for her, like she's doing the same thing that I just went through with that girl, of like understanding that like things come out of a place of hurt, and things again, all human behavior. But eventually like she couldn't take it anymore, and the interventions that she tried to make with me, and because eventually like a CPS was called.
Or Child Protective Services
Mm-hmm.
was called on whom?
On our family. Technically, if Child Protective Services is called, like it's called on the parents.
Well, so like I'm just trying to get a handle on what happened. So like Child Protective Services was called to intervene in your household because of this friend of yours?
Um, no, not exactly. So like she saw that like things were getting really, really bad mentally, and like I had said that like I wanted to kill myself, and I want to harm myself and things like that, and like she had to tell the adults in her life, tell the teachers, and I believe the teachers called. At least that's how, looking back, like I think that's what the order of events was. And so like for my mom, she she does this interesting thing where like she will wake up just enough to clean the house only when there's some sort of like external threat, like if the building superiors have to visit because they have to fix something, or like in this case where CPS would arrive and they would see that like the place is a mess, and so like that would like cause her to actually get up off her ass and start clearing the house and whatever. But like all that I know and or remember is like her being angry with me and being like why did you get CPS called, like don't you know like how many things that I do for you, and like you have to make them go away and stuff like that. And CPS is like, the system is broken, and like there's so many things wrong with what CPS does and whatever, because eventually like they just had like one talk with my mom and the school counselor, and then like they just left. They had a small talk with me, telling me that like your life will get like insurmountably harder if you're taken away and put into foster care, and um like the things that um kids would go through when they're in foster care, and you're already so old, like it's not worth it, or something like that. And so like I felt like I was like, okay, fine, like it's like I'll make them go away or something, but that doesn't deplete like the absolute, like it's just so unfair to like shame someone. And like I was just so out of control of the whole situation. um and like instead of her saying like, hey, like this behavior is so, it's like getting out of hand, like I'm treating my daughter badly, like instead like she turns it back on me and is like, why did you do this?
Yeah, she felt betrayed, right? She was like, it seems like she was maybe like anxious and didn't like feeling exposed, right?
Mm-hmm. And for a developing child, because even though like 17, like you're forming into an adult, but you're still a child. Like you feel this innate sense to like protect your quote unquote abuser. And like what I registered at the time was not like, this is very unfair to me. What I registered at the time was like, oh my God, like you're so right. Like if I leave my mom, I'm going to leave my sense of safety. Because I truly don't know what foster care is like. And I didn't want to find out, being that I was just so close to getting out and going to college. And like it just didn't feel like, it just didn't feel worth it. Like I thought we were on the same page of like this isn't even worth it. So and this was your mistake. So you go do something about it. And so like I remember like being into that like small little student counselor office and the same thing as the girl that I just tried to guide of like pretending that everything's okay and like I'm joking with my mom and like here's a little sticky for you like ha 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 and like since child protective services can only do so much like they're just like okay everything's dandy and then they just left not knowing that like things are just so bad to which like I don't blame them either because again like the system is very broken and those people are also very worn out but in my child brain it was like something could have happened that was good for me but it didn't pan out and nothing ever good will pan out for me um
That's what you
but
were telling. That's what you were telling yourself.
yeah because I thought that like this would be the one chance for my mom to wake up and realize that what she's doing to her daughter is so wrong but what actually came out of it was the same old like afterwards we go home and like I feel shamed and I feel in trouble and she would exacerbate that and arguments that ensued and it was just so unrelenting nothing changed yeah I feel like I've been yapping for so long I
No, no. I'm happy that you went off to college and got out of there and had these experiences and got some relief maybe from the environment that you had grown up in, which was pretty intense.
Mhm.
And then you get out of you get out of school and you're now a packaging and e-com designer, but you want to be a therapist. And I'm wondering, like, have there been any serious relationships in your life, like in college or after college?
Yeah, I had a guy back in college. Looking back, it was the same ordeal in which like it started out perfectly fine, but because of my insecurities and because of my vices and things that I haven't unpacked yet, like I just pushed him away and like started disrespecting him. I also did that to some college friends when I first joined in freshman year. Like I had carried, even though college was so freeing for me, I had carried some of that emotional baggage from my childhood and from my high school, like into into college. So like it wasn't where I stepped foot on campus and like I was automatically cured. Like these still affected my now adult relationships, and
It's like
I,
it's hard to trust people, I would imagine. If you grow up like you've lost your dad, in a sense he's left you when you're young, even though it wasn't his fault. And then your
mhm.
mother, has this hoarding thing and these mental health issues that she doesn't work to resolve. And so that's like a breach of trust. Like, am I barking up the right tree? Is that how it operates? Like this tendency you have to push people away. Like, do you understand why that happens? And is it related to a trust issue?
I believe so. I think like for me, it's both trust and abandonment, and even though no one abandoned me, like everyone dies. That's just a fact of life. And so like I just start to get into like my emotions of like nothing is going to be permanent and nothing is going to pan out the way that I want it. Why bother making friends in the first place?
Yeah, might as well just end this now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, might as
That's
well self sabotage. I was a huge self sabotager. I would do things that like I know isn't right, and I know would it like help our friendship and would hurt our friendship, but I did it anyway because it's like almost reaffirming, like, yeah, this isn't good for us. So like, bye. But not knowing that like I was the problem, you know.
hmm.
And that definitely was the case with my sister. And not knowing like what she went through and things like that. And
Yeah.
so
How's your relationship with her?
it was very rocky. Um, so since she's 4 years older than I, like she had gone to college around the time where I had started to go to high school. So where our childhood was meshed together and we were experiencing these things together, there was a point in which she had stepped off from my life and I was experiencing things on my own and didn't necessarily know how to navigate that alone. And so throughout time and for the things that she went through and all of that, I'm not going to recount them here, but everyone has their own story. It's I just can't care about what you're going through because we had gone through things together and it seems like you don't even care. And how personal that I would take things when she would try to give me advice, because if she was going through stuff, it's you're pot and you're telling kettle, I don't know what advice that you would have that would be handy. And being very angry that she would give that unprompted, not knowing that she just doesn't want me to repeat the same mistakes that she did. um yeah. And so literally um with what happened with my friend, um and getting heart
Meaning like the rupture of that relationship, the rupture of that friendship.
the rupture of the friendship with me and the Discord girl, what just happened.
Oh,
um
okay.
Literally yesterday, which is why again, it's serendipitous that I'm talking about all of this today, because literally yesterday, I had talked a very long talk with my sister. She is a teacher's assistant, or a permanent substitute teacher. She works with kids a lot. And she already has these lessons and this type of peaceful balance that I need. And she was walking me through that. And I just, I accepted all of it. And because I need it. And
Can I ask you something? Like, are you a spiritual person? Like, do you have any kind of religious upbringing, or is it not?
I'm not religious. My family is religious, and that is a huge factor in all the bad things that are happening. Because when you ignore your child and you want to find reason in why bad things happen to you, you're just gonna be well, it's God's will. And for a child, it's like I mean, I suppose so, but what's happening here is tangible, and what you're doing is it's not Satan possessing you or whatever. You're in control of your own actions.
So
Um,
what was the religion that your family was into?
Roman Catholicism. My
Okay.
mother is Roman Catholic. Hmm.
I was raised that way, but it didn't take.
Yeah, I actively reject it now. I mean, no judgment to anyone who is religious. But for me, I don't think that I'll ever return to that, because for me, I don't necessarily need it to have my morals and have my values. And I'm very comfortable in focusing on the tangible, pragmatic realities of the world. Not to say that that isn't a reality to someone else, but I guess I'm very I just I see what's before me, and that's how I process things, rather than looking for a metaphysical reasoning into why things the way that they are. That's just my take. Yeah, I don't want to shit on anyone that's religious. I
So here you are, age 25. You got a lot of life in front of you. You're young, and you got your degree. You've got a job. You're living with your mom, which isn't the greatest. Like I just met you, but I'm feeling like probably time for you to maybe get your own apartment.
Yeah.
That would probably be good. And then you're
I'm
gonna.
looking into it. Trust me.
I bet. And you are gonna try to go back to school at some point to
Hmm.
try to become a therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you go to therapy now yourself? Like, do you feel like you need to? Are there things that you think you need to resolve before you could be effective at counseling other people?
100,000 million zillion percent. I need to go to therapy myself. um, yeah, like I know that there's a lot of steps that need to happen before I step back into school. One of which is going to therapy myself and like having myself process what I need to process and unpack what I need to unpack. And also, like, moving out. One has to happen like over the other. I feel like getting therapy is a lot easier to acquire. Like moving out, especially here in New York City, is Hunger Games out here.
Like just trying to find an apartment.
Yeah, yeah. But those two really need to happen because, before trying to heal other people, like I need to heal myself. And I feel like am. I'm not entirely at peace with myself. Again, like I have to get there one day.
You're just
Um,
25. You're only 25. You got time. I'm more than, well, I guess I'm twice your age almost, and I'm still working on it. It's like a life project. Don't be too
yeah,
hard on yourself.
no, definitely. But I feel like I'm at this. Like I was talking to my sister yesterday. Like I'm at this like epiphany era where like, and I see it better already for myself. Where like I'm speaking more clearly. I mean, throughout this entire interview, I'm sure I stuttered and I backtracked and I don't know, just like that. But like with the person that Discord server and like also getting heartbroken in that Discord server.
Wait, by a boy?
Yeah, I could talk about that in a second. Like just talking to different people and like retouching grass. I'm just like I'm not angry anymore, and like I just used to be for a very very long time, and I just don't even realize. I'm sure like when I enter myself into therapy, like there's gonna be things that I'm angry about that I didn't even realize that I was angry about, or things that like I have to revisit my anger because like I do tend to ignore myself in order to be okay with someone else being angry with me, like things like that. But I just like opened myself up a lot more to receiving and to trust that these people are here. And you know, things could always happen like down the line where like things turn sour again and I have to leave people again. But like I just know that like I'll be okay again. Like that is just life of like you have to feel your emotions, you have to process them in a good amount of time, whatever timeline that works for you. And like I'll be okay again. But like 2 weeks ago, like I was a hot mess. Getting like stressed out over the suicidal girl and then getting heartbroken all the while, getting disrespected left and right. Like
Wait.
it
Who
was.
who broke your heart? Who is this guy?
Oh my goodness. So also in that Discord server.
Which is like what? Like just like a chat room. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so old. I don't even know what a Discord server is.
Yeah, it's a chat room where like it's just like this, like you talk face to face and like there could be a whole groups of people and like you go about your daily lives, like, oh, what are you cooking, and like what do you make, and things like that, and like knowing people's stories, different walks of life. And there's this one guy where like for me, like I will always detect when guys are very vulnerable, because like it does take a lot for anyone, but especially guys, to be very vulnerable. And like sharing his story and how much that moved me, because it's very very similar to mine.
How so?
I have to. be careful about dropping the details on it. But like also like really hard parents and a really hard life. I mean, there are differing details, as in like CPS was called, and he did go through a foster system. Um, so like when I hear about that, like I do think on like, oh, that would have been my alternate reality and things like that.
So
So
you had some things in common.
yeah, we had some things in common, and over time, like we had gotten a lot closer, and everyone got a lot closer, and for that friend group, it would be like this odd thing where we would all like flirt around each other, or at least like we want to like hype each other up, like, oh, like your dress looks great, and like, oh my god, like your guns look hot, and like you've been working out, like stuff like that. And because like we want to be supportive and whatever. But like the fact is, and I debriefed with the one of our mutuals that I still keep in contact with, like it came down, his particular flirting came down to two girls. It came down to me, and it came down to another girl. And like I love her, I still care about her, even though that she ultimately still did hurt me too. And one day, like because I love my girls. One day, I was just in the voice chat with me, that girl, and our mutual. I love her. She's from New Zealand. And I just spilled the beans. And I'm just like, I really like this guy. And we had talked about it a little bit. Like, we were like kind of fangirling because the other girl that he flirted with liked him too. this man this man had charm, I guess. And it's so looking back, like it is so strange because like I just never like anybody. Like I don't know how to navigate that portion of my life yet, but it is just like if a guy likes me, like it is just superficial and I don't really entertain it. But if I start liking a guy, like that really means something because there's substance to that. And so like we had talked about it, fangirled a little bit, and at the very end of that, and I have screenshots of all this stuff, or at least like I have the screenshot of her decision, because she had told me the last that we had talked about it, she had told me like, hey, I'm actually going to pull out of this conversation. I just don't feel comfortable, which is valid. I had done the rounds of like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done that. But more
Wait, shouldn't
important,
have done what? Shouldn't have talked about this guy?
yeah, I shouldn't have fangirled or something like that. I mean, I know it's just silly, but I do recognize that, like, if it's like about your friend and like it's quote unquote behind his back, like I can see like we see why we all felt like a little pang of guilt of like, yeah, let's not do that again. But at the very end, she had said like, you know, I just prefer this guy as a friend. I have a little crush, but like I just prefer this guy as a friend. And Jessa, go ahead and shoot your shot. And I guess that's kind of what I did. I mean, for me, like I get very tired of mind games, and I don't necessarily believe in like, oh, the guy should confess to you first or something like that. Like in my past relationships, like I've been the initiator because I just get tired of it. Like, come be with me. I know you like me. um, and so like eventually, like we had all grown closer, and eventually, like the guy would be in like my DMs, and like looking back at it now, like and knowing the amount, like I was just not crazy for thinking that like he really
Those are okay. So people listening, Jessa is showing me her phone screen, and there are lots of DMs.
lots of DMs of every single time that we flirted, every single time that there was a little heartstring pulled. Like Oh, I didn't even show you that. Like, it stops right about, my hands are a little sweaty. It stops like right about here. And like I just really like this guy. And also,
So wait, so what happened?
so come Valentine's, um, I'm
This
getting
this past Valentine's Day.
this past Valentine's, yes. I was gearing up to like talk to him about it, getting ready to confess. And since our friend group was flirty and like we're just very open and honest with each other and whatnot, everyone wanted to be each other's Valentines. Because like for Valentine's, I know the traditional meaning is like for partners, but like Valentine's could literally just mean anyone that you love, and I love my friends. So I wanted to just have everyone be my Valentine. And I'm at this perfume shop, and like we're all spending time together and things like that. And like we're just throwing out at each other, like, "Hey, will you be my Valentine?" and things like that. And like the guy stops, and he's like, "Oh no, like so and so girl, the other girl that he was flirting with, um, is my Valentine." And we're sticking to that, or at least like we're strict on that. Um, and then the girl joins, and we're just like, "Oh my god, like you don't want to be our Valentine?" Like we're all just joking, and she's like, "No, like oh, I'm so and so, the guy, his Valentine. Like oh, we made a little promise to each other and things like that." And it just signaled to me that these people are actually like together. um
But like together, but like not in the same physical space. They're together on a Discord server, right?
yeah, I suppose so, together as and like they establish something, and they are, I guess, sticking by it, and I guess that was like their soft launch. I mean, speaking to the girl afterwards, which I'm jumping the gun, she said that that was a joke, but born out of mutual feelings for each other. And for me and my principal, like once like I get an inkling of a guy that I'm interested in, but like they've got something else going on, like I immediately back off. But the issue is that like even after Valentine's, like he would still flirt with me. Like those DMs contain things of like you have a great smile, and like things like you would be a great mom, and like sending a whole bunch of like hug emojis and things like that, to which like I know there's other girls in that Discord server, like I know that you don't do that to anyone else. And I asked like my New Zealand friend or mutual, and she's like, yeah, like I never received that. I don't think the other girls received that, and whatever. I mean, one day I'll talk to them about it, but yeah. So like what I tried to be responsible about is like the full honesty. I was contemplating like hey, like if you're with this other girl, like my best friend, like I need you to not say those things to me. Like that was my plan. And since I wanted to be honest with the girl, and since like I ride for my girls, like I would communicate with the girl first. I would tell her like, hey, if you guys are together, that's I would have to tell him about that. But it was a tricky situation because I didn't know. And so like I felt bad that like I would have to essentially kind of put her on the spot of whether or not they were together. And so that's eventually what happened. I called her sort of a week after Valentine's, like he would still say those things to me. And I my voice was really shaky, and but I was just upfront. I was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry to put you on the spot like this, but are you and so together? Because if you are, like he was saying these things to me, and I if you guys are together, yeah, the whole motions. I would tell him not to say those things. And like for her reaction, like I am sorry that I put her on the spot, but yeah, she said like I don't really know, but like I guess so, and exclusive, and like I was just like, okay, all right, sorry for that, and like the whole conversation was just so awkward. And so like afterwards, she had messaged me, and she said like, hey, um like that conversation hurt my feelings. um I I don't think that he would do that. He's really kind to his friend and cares a lot about him, a lot about them. Um, he would say that he misses me, and like I just don't think that he would do that. Like, don't go to him and tell him that, because we had only briefly talked about it, and like I don't want to pressure him into not being with me. That's what she told me, and whatever. And the first thing that I do, and I know that this is, again, things that I need to unpack, is that I say, I'm sorry. Like, I tell her, like, I'm sorry I hurt you. I don't want you to feel put on the spot either. And, you guys define how you guys define it. And we had a long conversation about it, about the Valentine's thing. Oh, yeah, that was a joke, but it was pretty serious. And we had decided to get together afterwards. And like now I know, like looking back and talking to all of those people, I didn't have to apologize. I do like apologize for like bum rushing her about it, but for me, I'm not gonna let that go on for weeks. If I have this knowledge now, because that's also unfair to her. It's not where like this guy isn't these people know what they're doing, and I can run myself into circles being he just doesn't know, and things got hazy and things, but at the very end, I tried to be responsible about it, and not only did she not believe me, but told me that I had hurt her, and the first thing that I did was oh, I am sorry. And I was just so heartbroken, because one of the things that she said was that she had immediately called him and discuss about what I said, and by her recounting, according to him, all those things, all those DMs, and all the flirting that he would do in the server or whatever, was only meant in a kind and friendly way. And it's just how I tried to react calmly, talking to her, was that I was just oh yeah, now I know where my boundaries stand, and now I know like uh, my own answers of how you feels and things like that. I'll step away from your life, and I'm truly happy for you guys, and things like that. But it took talking to my friends to realize that again, this was so unfair to me. like sure, flirting with two girls happened, and sure, I can ignore red flags and all of that jazz and whatever, but for the guy, if he had no intention of anything further, all those DMs shouldn't have happened, and for the girl, like the last thing that she had told me was, I prefer this guy as a friend, go ahead and shoot your shot. That was the extra, I guess, push that oh, maybe I can, maybe I'll be okay in pursuing, because also I had tried to, that was new territory for me. I had tried to grapple with I don't know anything about like online relationships. I don't even know, like, even if I do confess, like it'll just be out of my chest and like nothing will come out of it. But where my own plan changed was that I had saw possibility, because one of the things that this guy would, I guess, emotionally entrap me with was that he knew that all the while with the advice that I would give to the friend groups and like with things that I got going on, he knew that I would want to become a therapist. He had sent me his own therapist to I guess talk to different people in the field, and she said look into this college that was in his area. So to me, like where my plan had changed was that it went from I'm just gonna get it off my chest and like just be done with it, to where this is actually possibly feasible, where it's not like where I'm uprooting my whole life and like running to this guy. I would be doing something for me while also being happy. And so the possibility of it really like drew me in further, and like the fact that he was receiving, I was giving, like we were all we're flirting with each other in these DMs, like my intention, at least before I got stopped dead in my tracks, um was pure. I flirted with this guy because I like this guy. Like I didn't flirt with anyone else in that server in a meaningful way, where I'm sliding into their DMs and giving them like 10 hug emojis or something like that. I thought that I had it pretty straight. And then to find all of this out without even speaking a word to him, because I respected her wishes, okay, fine, I won't go to him. But just to find out through someone else that all of that meant nothing, instead of maybe hearing it for yourself, and also finding that out through the girl that he got with, the same girl who told me that she wouldn't do anything and encouraging me to shoot my shot. like uh, like I was I had to call up other people, and I was sobbing. I was so heartbroken. And all the self-blame that I would do, maybe I should have, or the nuance and understanding for them, oh, they're also going through things, we're all going through things, but I was hurt. And I know it's just so silly, because for regular schmegular people, it's we'll go outside. This is so, you're so chronically online, and yeah, all of this was born because I was very chronically online. But I have never, I'm not going to say that I got cheated on, because that didn't happen. I didn't get with the guy. I'm not necessarily led on, because I never told him, and then him having to toy with me. That's technically my suicidal friend situation, where she's in love with them, he knows this, and he toys with her and emotionally plays with her. I'm not necessarily saying those things, but I was played.
It happens.
That was so my frontal lobe developing at 25 just took a major hit. Both of this at the same time.
Well, I'm sorry. It's it sucks, Discord heartbreak. It's tough. Right? And I think I guess the place that I'll leave it is that I first of all wish you well. I hope that you maybe meet some guys IRL, you get to go out and
Oh yeah.
I don't know, meet somebody at a party where you can actually see them and talk to them in real time. That might be a good thing to do.
Yeah, I've been on a date or so, just my little way of moving on. And I think this one guy at the sushi bar is interested in me, and I just have I just realized that I have other options, and those options are in person. I mean, I nothing really panned out of the quote unquote date. It was just a simple hangout. I was going to tried to establish it as one because, like, again, like my little way of moving on, but like hearing her story and knowing like what I went through, it's like I would also be like taking advantage of her, and it wouldn't be right. Also, like now with this heartbreak, like I'm also in no place to start it up seriously again. But it's nice to like hang out with people in real life. Like that's what I needed. It's just to see real faces.
Yeah, get out of that Discord. Go out into the world. And
Yeah, I ultimately left. You know, they're gone now. They've been
yeah.
gone for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I still
All
have
right.
some connections that like they're my real friends. But like I've done good in keeping a good balance of being in contact with the people that I want to be in contact. But those three people, like the suicidal girl and the two people that played me, I blocked all three of them. They're gone. Um, I still care about the suicidal girl, and I want to know a status update on her. Like I know it's hard, but like I just can't let go of the care that I have for her. But the two people, like let them just let them be. And my friends were like walking me through just how much of a bullet that I was dodging, and taking off my rose-colored glasses and realizing that he's a weirdo, and like it happens to the best of us because like the limerence is so strong. Yeah, actually, so since I know he's going to hear this, the person that brought me on to this, Ivan, hi Ivan, he's one of the people that walked me through that heartbreak and getting me to like wake the fuck up. Like this man is no prize. He's a weirdo who wants to go after a 20-year-old and you're almost pushing 30. Like that is weird. um, Things like that. And so like I'm at a better place now. And for the bounce back that like this timeline was only like a couple of weeks, which giving grace to myself like is really good. Like sometimes it takes people years and months, but hyping myself up like I did this relatively quickly.
Yeah, you're processing. And you're young. You got a lot of, like I said, you got a lot in front of you. It's just one guy on one Discord server. There are other Discord servers out there, I'm sure.
Oh, they're real guys. Like, forget the online stuff. Like,
yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk with you. I wish you well. You've had a lot in your life that has been difficult, and I feel for you, and I appreciate you sharing, and I hope that the future is bright. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the space to talk about this.
All right, there we go. That was my conversation with Jessa, age 25, a packaging and e-commerce designer from the Bronx. Big thanks again to Jessa for talking with me so candidly about her life. It was great to meet her. Thanks to you for listening. I appreciate it. If you're out there and you know somebody who might be a great guest for this new character studies series, you can email me. The address is letters@otherppl.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you listen, and you can follow me on social media on Bluesky and Instagram. If you would like to receive my weekly newsletter, you can sign up for it over at Substack. And if you listen regularly to this show, if you get something from it and you appreciate the work that I do, join the Other People Patreon community over at patreon.com/otherpplpod. Once again, that's patreon.com/otherpplpod. If you want to join the Other People Book Club or get an Other People t-shirt, you can do that at the show's official website, otherppl.com. Be sure to check out my new company. It's called Deep Dive. The website is www.deepdive.audio. Sign up for the Deep Dive newsletter, and you can follow Deep Dive on Instagram and Bluesky. If you have 2 minutes and you want to help me out a little bit, please give this show a rating wherever you listen. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Rate it, review it. It helps it in the algorithm. It helps the podcast find new listeners. So coming up on Tuesday, I will be in conversation with Sanjana Sathian about her new novel. It is called Goddess Complex. I had a great time meeting Sanjana Sathian. I'm excited to share that one with you in just a couple of days, coming up on Tuesday. Stay tuned.